Really good.
Hello. Otis, not helping, buddy. Not helping. It's playtime. Hi, I'm Terry Kyle, the Australian co-founder of WPX.net. We're an independent, high-speed WordPress hosting company, and this is our shelter, the EveryDogMatters.org dog shelter here in Bulgaria in Eastern Europe. And WPX.net has been looking after homeless dogs, hundreds of them, since 2016. We're in our 5th year here at this shelter, and we're trying to build the world's best dog shelter for dogs, like beautiful Hope here. And these are our stories. In this episode, we're going to find out what happens to hunting dogs here that are not very good as hunters, and also what happens to puppies of hunting dogs that are surplus to the needs of hunters. And then we're going to find out why it is that hunters here do not normally neuter or castrate their dogs, their hunting dogs. And today we're going to meet a beautiful hunting dog who was abandoned called Roger and find out his full story. This is Roger, an abandoned hunting dog, I suspect from many years ago. You can see that he's missing one eye. So we suspect what happened to him was that he was in a dog fight or he was hit by somebody possibly, but the eye was not completely gone, so we had to surgically remove it for his own health. So what often happens with a dog like Roger is that he'll be a hunting dog who's not particularly good at hunting. He gets thrown out, usually in the forest, and if they're lucky, somebody will find the dog and bring it into a shelter like ours, or adopt it, or raise awareness of it. When Roger was found in this small village called Rojo, hence he got his name, he was extremely malnourished, and he was so weak that he couldn't even eat when he was offered food by people passing through the village. So he could barely stand up. He was very malnourished, and he obviously had the eye, which didn't look good, which we've surgically dealt with here. Roger has been with us for about 5 weeks now, and very, very quickly, once he started to eat and gain some strength, and obviously we checked all of his health situation with vaccinations and whether he had any diseases and things like that. We have a quarantine section in our shelter and a vet clinic on site, the vet and a vet technician who deal with that whole process for new arrivals. So after a week or two, Roger was doing great. He put on a lot more weight. He was doing much better. And actually what's great to see with dogs like Roger is their real personality gets to come out. So what we see with Roger is he's a very social, very friendly dog. He's great with people. He's not reactive to other dogs. He's basically a perfect dog, but he just wasn't suited probably to being a hunting dog. And over the 5 years of our shelter here, we've had quite a few abandoned hunting dog types like Roger through here. Not the easiest to get adopted, but they can happen. And we currently have one other hunting dog, abandoned, probably hunting dog here at the moment. Roger is doing great. He's quite an old guy. I think he's probably in the vicinity of like 9 to 10 years old, which means he probably struggled a lot to find food, and he'd been malnourished for a very long time. But with us, he's going to be safe, of course. He's going to be very well looked after. We provide the same level of medical care for all of our shelter dogs here as a pet dog, a properly cared for pet dog would get, with vaccinations, orthopedic operations if they need it, hydrotherapy, things like that. So Roger's future is really good, and even if he isn't adopted, he'll still have a terrific home with us. He'll be in a big yard. We only use very, very big yards. That's core to our philosophy. Dogs need space and not to be overcrowded with dogs in each yard. But he'll do well now, Roger. He's one of the lucky ones. A lot of them are not that lucky. They get abandoned, and unfortunately they're not used to fending for themselves, so they will die in the forest, which is awful and completely unnecessary, but that's just a fact of life here, unfortunately. Good boy, buddy. He's such a natural on camera. Aren't you, buddy? Yeah, he's an old guy, I think. To answer my 3 questions from earlier in this episode, what happens to hunting dogs that are not good hunters? Quite often they're just abandoned in the forests. They're not used to fending for themselves, so it's a horrible situation, but they will typically die out there because they're just not used to that, having to get food for themselves. The second question I posed earlier was what happens to the puppies of the female hunting dogs? Well, typically hunters will just throw them in a box and chuck them in the street or leave them in a dog shelter and let somebody else deal with that, which is highly irresponsible, but it's a fact of life here and something we deal with. Now, the third question, and you're probably wondering, well, why don't these hunters just get their dog neutered? Well, culturally, that's not a big thing here, and there's huge resistance to having your dog neutered, castrated here. So we're working against that all the time. We run free neutering campaigns as well. Some of those are funded by overseas organizations. We're very grateful for that. But basically, it requires a lot more enforcement at the government level in order to kind of make dog owners neuter their pets. Otherwise, the street dogs just keep coming, the homeless dogs just keep coming, while that oversupply from female pets just keeps on coming. So that's the story of Roger the hunting dog. And if you like what we're trying to do here with homeless dogs and dog shelters everywhere, then please just share our stories. We really appreciate that. Guys like Otis here, he's a wonderful dog. Now, on the next episode, we're going to meet the oldest dog that we have at the shelter. I'm going to reveal his age. He's a boy. He's a bit of a grumpy old man. Actually, no, he's very sweet. And we're going to find out his story, how difficult his life was, what's happened since he's been with us, and how he lives his life today. So I hope to see you on the next episode of Dog Shelter Diary, when I get to tell you more about the wonderful dogs that we have here and the work that we're trying to do to help homeless dogs everywhere. Roger.